Truth TV. I'm excited about it. It's Donald Trump. And as you know, if you've been a viewer of the show for any length of time, um, I think put on this earth to save us all. And when I say save us all, let me finish.
Can you let him finish,
Yes,
sir?
from reason and from purity of thought. He wants to bring back corruption and insider pay to play. And while doing it, he wants another propaganda machine. Fox News Channel isn't enough. I need propaganda on blast. And that's why I'm starting Truth Plus. This is the newest offering from Donald Trump. There's a full line of pundits and others who are part of this effort, Truth Plus. So Eric Bolling has gone over there?
Featuring Newsmax.
I see. These are Newsmax people.
It's a way for Newsmax, apparently, to increase its presence outside the United States.
I see, because I was wondering, a lot of those people I thought are already on. Okay.
It's all streaming channels, on-demand video through the Truth Plus apps on all these different platforms.
So Truth Plus is essentially, it's a middleman media play. So think of it, it's like I don't know if anybody saw this, but Amazon had a service called Freevee, Freevee. We could even talk to Jefferson Graham about this. And it was essentially what Trump is doing. It was a clearinghouse for a bunch of stuff that you could watch on individual streamers. But if you watch it through Freevee, I think it was called. I think it was, that's what it was called. They got a cut. Right, and then they can insert ads.
It had advertisements, but they're killing it.
Yeah, exactly. They're stopping it. That's the only reason it was top of mind. I think it's got 2 weeks to go. Lizard people, rulers of time and space, one of the main offerings and features in new Truth Plus menus.
I think the key is if you're looking for truth on Truth Plus, you'll be sorely disappointed. The truth is lacking on Truth Plus.
I'd say that if you're the lizard people, though, that's a pretty solid plan to have both time and space. I mean, if you have time, no space, I think it leaves you short. I think if you're part of the lizard people crew, you want both time and space. So I at least I support that. I haven't watched the film yet.
Ooh, it's a wild idea, but it just might work.
Tie them both up. Tie them both up. I did want to mention, though, before we get to that, the death toll, I guess, continues to mount in that Texas tragedy.
Yeah.
The flooding that took the lives of 27 campers and counselors. And I believe now there are 104 people, I think that's the number I saw, who've lost their lives in this devastation.
Horribly sad.
There are more than 20 state agencies responding to the flooding across Texas.
Update the numbers now. It's 108. Yeah.
And so, again, we've mentioned, as Tony shows you, I think Tony was one of the first guys to have the time lapse up yesterday that you then saw, I think, in a number of different places through the day. I saw it later in the evening news, etc. But the reason I mentioned the time lapse is it really did make it clear. I mean, this was a 5-minute period, and you can see here, Tony's showing it to you again, the banks of the river overflowing and then just completely engulfing everything close to the river. This is in 5 minutes. So this tremendous rainfall that produced this phenomenon, it was forecast. It was forecast by the National Weather Service, and the National Weather Service had hired on overtime, additional staffing because of the anticipated severe weather. But as pointed out yesterday by Kim, the cuts at the federal level at the National Weather Service, while not affecting this specific situation because they covered by hiring those additional forecasters, and I say hiring, meaning calling in those additional forecasters for this period of time when they were expecting the severe weather, there were other positions associated with getting the information out. Those positions were eliminated. They were eliminated in all the DOGE cuts and in the dismantling of the federal government that the Trump administration has been pursuing. So, yeah, the forecast was right. but the ability to get the forecast to many was hampered because of the lack of manpower, because of the elimination of those positions. They also, was it 3 years ago? Maybe it was longer ago than that. They were told, I think it was longer ago than that, they were told you need some kind of alarm system, siren system, akin to what they have on Tornado Alley, where they can, if they see flash flooding is imminent, can sound that siren, and that will clear that area, which is flood prone. It's in a floodplain. And they decided it was too expensive. And so they decided against it.
That wasn't the federal government that decided that. That was the community that decided they didn't want to spend the money.
That's right.
So that, can't blame that on the Trump administration. But I think it's interesting that Ted Cruz, who was in Greece at the time of crisis, not how that he could have known this was going to happen, but he never seems to be around when bad things happen in Texas.
Yeah,
It was obviously a mistake. In hindsight, I wouldn't have done it.
No, that was not this time. That was the last time. That was when he went to Cancun.
Right, Cancun.
Because the weather was bad in Texas. It was cold.
Hey, look, we don't have school. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here is Ted Cruz talking about things when he knows the emphasis shouldn't be on politicizing things. He always talks about let's not politicize things at a time of tragedy, right? Here he is. This is Ted Cruz.
Right now, everyone is horrified watching the wildfires that are devastating Los
Let me
Angeles.
just be clear about this. Stop for 1 second. Ted Cruz, who right now, as people are questioning the situation in Texas, he's the Texas senator, of course, and these cutbacks to which Kim has referred, and we've referred here on the show, that have affected the ability of the National Weather Service to get out warnings, watches, even forecasts in a timely way. They've taken a wrecking ball to NOAA, the National Association of National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. That's it. And they've taken a wrecking ball to the National Weather Service, as they have so much the rest of these government services that we pay so dearly for. This strikes me as a critical work, but they've nonetheless taken a wrecking ball to it. So I mention this because right now it's being talked about. These cutbacks, they all are relevant to the question as to loss of life. Could it have been avoided? These are very important questions. Cruz is saying, how can you talk about this stuff right now? This is no time to mention these kinds of things. You're politicizing this entire tragedy, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. This is Ted Cruz 6 months ago when California had its fires.
Thousands of homes and buildings destroyed, multiple people killed, 170,000 people evacuated, and the wildfires, they keep raging. In today's Verdict with Ted Cruz podcast, we break down the catastrophic policy decisions made by elected politicians in California, made by Governor Gavin Newsom, made by Mayor Karen Bass. Over and over again, they were told these decisions would increase the risks of devastating wildfires. Over and over again, they were told these decisions would make it much harder to fight these wildfires, and yet...
Okay, that's all I need to see. That Ted Cruz, of course, took the opportunity to exploit that tragedy for political means, political ends. And let me say this in defense of Ted Cruz in that spot. I think it very much appropriate to ask questions about how we ended up in a certain place where a tragedy unfolded and it cost a lot of lives or destruction of property. I think it's appropriate. I think it's appropriate to talk about gun policy when a bunch of kids are mowed down by someone with an automatic or semi-automatic rifle. These are the times you talk about it. So Cruz, back when he was talking about the fires in California, is right about a conversation associated with these things. I'm not saying he's right about policy that he's weighing in on. I don't know. But it's certainly not an inappropriate time to talk about it. With sensitivity, one needs to look at how you end up in a place. But similarly, it's very reasonable to talk about what's going on in Texas. It must be deemed reasonable to do so as well. And so when we talk about the lack of a warning system, Kim talks about the personnel issues. I think these are fair things to bring up. So Ted Cruz, again, back from Greece, though, now, and he's in Texas.
He said, told Fox News that something went wrong when the camp wasn't warned of the flood. So Ted Cruz is saying that something went wrong when the camp wasn't warned of the flood as well. He said the fact that you have girls asleep in their cabins when the flood waters are rising, something went wrong there. We've got to fix that and have a better system of warning to get kids out of harm's way. So
there it is. Yeah, he recognizes it. President Trump is saying that Bolsonaro, who's on trial for engineering a coup, he's the far right leader in Brazil. Trump is saying he is not guilty of anything.
No, of course.
Authoritarians got authoritarian together. Yeah. And Koosters got a coup together. So that was he literally is on trial in Brazil. And Trump is saying what Brazil is doing is crazy. So I don't know. Also in Trump land, if you saw the actual moment, so we'll share it with you. I think Tony's got the video. Do you have the video of President Netanyahu or Prime Minister Netanyahu offering Donald Trump the Nobel Prize?
Oh, God.
Nobel Prize nomination. He sends a letter saying that Trump should be nominated for the Nobel Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, there's been peace for about an hour. And when I say peace, it's just a cessation of hostilities as the dust settles from a huge bomb that was dropped on at least one location in Iran. And there were obviously massive munitions dropped in 3 locations in Iran. I'm just struck by the fact that there's no lasting peace crafted here. And it is all just part of the ass-kissery that has become a cornerstone of this administration and the way the rest of the world deals with Donald Trump, that he's nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. And the Nobel Peace Prize, you could even say, has had some questionable recipients before. I mean, and Barack Obama was embarrassed about getting the Nobel Peace Prize. He knew that he wasn't really entitled to or deserving of the Nobel Peace Prize when it was offered to him. I'll give you an even more extreme example. Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger, after the Vietnam War, after the peace deal was made, he was given Nobel Prize with, and he shared it with a North Vietnamese leader. And the crimes that you could, I think, argue defensively that Henry Kissinger was responsible for in Vietnam, they're war crimes. And in that way, you begin to reveal maybe the absurdity in some cases of these awards and these prizes, particularly the Nobel Peace Prize. It's so subjective. Here is a piece of video from that meeting with Netanyahu offering it to Donald Trump, offering the letter of nomination.
Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well-deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Well, thank you very much. Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much, Bibi.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
I'm not much of a reader, but somebody look at this and tell me what it says. I'm sure it's Trump's view.
I'll just set this aside.
Right. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.